Welcome to the Girl Zone. I'm Cameron Dinkins.
And I'm Brianna Williams.
This week we're going to start it off with the NBA Zone.
Now let's talk about one of the most anticipated players to start the season. You know him.
LaMelo Ball?
No, the other one.
LiAngelo.
No, not the college one. The Lakers.
Lawrence.
Lonzo. Let's talk about Lonzo Ball. All this talk that went into him before the season started, and let's be honest, he's just not producing points. His assists, even his steals and his rebounds, those stats are impressive, but he's not putting up numbers. However, I don't think that Lakers fans should fret because he still has something that's intangible and he still has the ability to carry this team, but he just needs more time to develop and more time to work on that awkward shot of his.
Next, we're going to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo, also known as the Greek Freak. This 6'11" power forward has had a great season, improving so much from last year, averaging 34 points per game, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists, almost a triple-double every game. He's on everybody's watch list for the MVP award this season.
Contrary to Lonzo, a player that has lived up to all the hype was the #1 pick, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is averaging nearly a triple-double, and the Sixers are currently top 5 in the Eastern Conference. They also were on a 5-game win streak for the first time since the 2011-2012 season. This team is full of young players, so it's exciting to see where they will go, not only this season, but maybe next season.
Now, staying in the Eastern Conference, we're going to talk about the Boston Celtics. Kyrie Irving has proven to be a leader, leading the team in scoring. The team is on a 10-game winning streak. Even with the loss of Gordon Hayward and Al Horford, the team has proven to be a top contender in the Eastern Conference, and rookie Jason Tatum has really been proving himself on the court. Welcome to the HBCU Zone. We're going to start off a little different this week. We're going to talk about the top 3 teams in the MEAC. First, the North Carolina A&T Aggies, who are undefeated for the first time in 93 years in the program's history. The Aggies defeated Norfolk State 35-7. Quarterback Lamar Raynard has a single-season record of 2,302 yards. The Aggies take on Savannah State this week and end the season against their rivals North Carolina Central. Next is the North Carolina Central Eagles. The Eagles are second behind the Aggies in the MEAC with a 5-1 overall conference record and 7-2 overall for the season. Eagles wide receiver Jason Murphy had a big game against Delaware State. He recorded 10 receptions for 189 yards and 2 touchdowns. Eagle offensive lineman Nick Leverett was named Offensive Lineman of the Week, and rookie quarterback Chauncey Caldwell was named Rookie of the Week. And at the top 3, we're going to talk about Howard. Howard is 5-1 in conference play and 6-3 overall. The Bison just ended their 3-game winning streak with a loss to NCCU. Next, we're going to get into the SWAC and talk about Grambling State. Grambling State is 5-0 in the SWAC West Division and 8-1 overall. Grambling State wide receiver Daryl Clark leads the team in receiving with 349 yards and 5 TDs.
This is the NFL Zone. Now let's start with some big news that's been happening off the field. After weeks and weeks of this being pushed back and delayed, Ezekiel Elliott will finally serve his 6-game suspension starting week 10. Keeping it along in the Cowboys organization, Jerry Jones is possibly looking at suing NFL for Roger Goodell's contract extension. Now, of course, this could possibly be fueled by the handling of Zeke's suspension, but he could also be displeased with Goodell's handling of the NFL anthem protests. We'll see how this plays out, as any form of paperwork has not been filed yet. Keeping it in the NFC East and moving right along, let's talk about who is the top contender in the NFC. Of course, the Eagles come off as the #1 favorite. They're 8-1 going to their bye week. They just blew out the Broncos. But I think that there's a hidden problem with this team that no one's talking about. They have season-ending injuries. They've lost 2 players to season-ending injuries in Jordan Hicks and Jason Peters. Although this hasn't been bothering them immediately, I think in the future it'll come along to reveal itself, and it may cause their demise. Now, if the Eagles do happen to fall, I think there's a very strong case to be made for both the Vikings and the Rams to go in and take that number 1 spot in the NFC. So that's definitely something to stay tuned for as the season plays out. Strong cases can be made for all 3 teams at the top of the AFC. Of course, the Chiefs are the only team to beat the Eagles this season, so I think that's definitely something that they have in their pocket that makes them stand out from every other team, not only in the AFC, but the NFL period. The Patriots, they have Tom Brady. That's what it's been for years now, and that's their one piece of the puzzle that won't change and that gives them that edge over every other team in the AFC. Now let's go to the Steelers. I think they're the most balanced team at the top of out of these 3, with their weapons and Ben Roethlisberger and that chemistry with Antonio Brown. But then let's talk about the defense. This secondary has improved so much from years past, and with all the young players they have stepping up, that really makes me think that they are prepared to be the number 1 seed and maybe even go on to win the Super Bowl for the AFC.
Welcome to Who You Got?
I got the Steelers.
I got the Bills.
I got the Vikings.
I got the Lions.
I got the Titans.
I got the Jets.
I got the Jags.
I got the Bears.
I got the Rams.
I got the Giants.
And I got the Falcons.
And I got the Cowboys.
Now, I know as a Cowboys fan, you always want to ride for your team, but let's face the facts. With Zeke out, that backfield is not going to be the same, and they're not going to be able to compete with the numbers that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are going to put up in this W at home for the Falcons.
Now, let me tell you, without Zeke, this Cowboys running back situation is still decent. And like you said, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones haven't had the chemistry that they used to have. But the Cowboys do need to still worry about Julio Jones as a deep threat. But DeMarcus Lawrence will give Matt Ryan pressure, and the Cowboys will get that win.
Well, I got the Patriots.
I got the Panthers. And we want you to have a great week 10. And thank you for watching The Girl Zone.